And we are live. Listen, shout out to Omar Tillman, okay, because he was in the chat at 8:17. I set this up at like 8:15, 8:16, okay? As soon as he saw us pop up, he was just like, let's talk about it. He said, my prayers have been answered CJ season. So he's happy about this. He's happy about this. Like before you tell him what happened, right? I need to confess something. I made a grave mistake before I came on air, right? I just told you about it, right? So got my kids here. They want pizza. I order Papa John's pizza for them. Whatever. That's
strike one.
Strike one. Yes, I know. Okay. Somebody say strike 1 and 2. Okay. Go on the app, order everything that they like. Telling the kids, hey, keep your ear out for the door, okay? Because these kids, when they start running around and yelling and screaming, nobody listens for the door. They put the pizza outside, and the pizza just sits there. So I'm telling everybody, heads up, okay? Daddy got a show to do. So keep your ear out for the pizza. Checking the app saying it's ready. And then I'm like, man, it's been a little while. Let me check again, see who's delivering this pizza. I set it for pickup. Right? The point of the story is we all make mistakes. And the Panthers also made a huge mistake today, B. What did they do?
The Panthers traded 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and number 1 wide receiver DJ Moore to the Chicago Bears for the number 1 overall pick.
Now you've been on record as saying, hey, the Panthers could put together a nice package for the Ravens. And you said DJ Moore was non-negotiable. Like, you can't have DJ Moore.
Yeah, you can't.
But apparently we
Justin Fields can. Now the Bears have what the Panthers should have had they just drafted Justin Fields to begin with.
Yeah,
this is all JC Horn's fault.
All right, let me shout out the chat.
This doesn't even feel right. We need to play the intro.
All right, go ahead, play the intro.
I'm gonna play the intro real quick. I don't like the opening without the intro. So here we go.
Okay, what's going on, LBHT crew?
It didn't work. It didn't work. I still feel bad. I still feel bad, but that's all right. Yeah. So this goes back a few years. What's up, Justin? To where the Panthers were picking, I believe it was 8th overall.
Shout out to Chris.
They could have had. What's up, Chris? Stop it. And they could have had Justin Fields or Rashawn Slater. Those are the picks, right? Or Devonta Smith, even, or Jalen Waddle. They took JC Horn. They took a corner, and that's led to them just chasing, essentially, right? They passed on. Stop it, Reg. They passed on their franchise. They're passing on their franchise quarterback, passing on the left tackle. So now they had to come back a couple years later and take Okwonu at left tackle, and now obviously having finished the season in 9th, 9th place in the draft, they had to pay the price. It's like what we always talk about with the Ravens. Eventually, you have to pay the price, for wide receiver. You keep drafting and you keep missing, and eventually you're just going to have to pay for somebody. Well, that's what is going on in Carolina right now. They kept on, trying to get other people's trash and turn it into their franchise quarterback, and it didn't work. And now they have to pay the price because they skipped out on getting Justin Fields. Justin Herbert was taken 1 pick ahead of Carolina when they drafted Derrick Brown. They could have traded up probably for less than 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and their number one wide receiver and got Justin Herbert. But they didn't do it. So now they're picking at number one. And, you know, it's terrible because part of it is terrible because, you know, coming into this season, I think they want Richardson too.
We're gonna talk about that. That's a good point, though, Salome, man. That's a good point.
But yeah, I think that, you know, coming into this season, you kind of looked at the offense and like it was almost finished, like it was almost complete. You had the skill position players. They put together the O-line. They just needed to drop a quarterback into it, and you know, especially when you have a rookie quarterback, you know, you want reliable receivers for him, and you want a strong run game for him, you know, to help ease the transition into the NFL. And so, of course, they traded Christian McCaffrey and now have traded DJ Moore. So, you know, if you look at it, since Tepper has taken over, they've used 2 firsts, 3 seconds, a third, 2 fourths, a fifth, a sixth, DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey to try and get their franchise quarterback. And now they're even saying now that they're still open to trading down from number one. But now, you know, it's all come to this moment, you know, where they're going to draft their guy and you know, they're going to start the rebuild around him.
Salome, man, thanks for coming through to the chat, man. It's the first time seeing you here, man. If you're new, hit that subscribe. If the Panthers really did all that for Anthony Richardson, send the asteroid.
You know what? Whatever, man. You spelled asteroid wrong, so whatever. I don't care. I wouldn't even be upset about Anthony Richardson. I very much hear what you're saying about trading up.
Oh, it's Baja. He said he had to change his name. Okay. Hey, what's up, man? What's up?
Well, I very much hear what you're saying about trading up to get, you know, all of that to get Richardson. But here we are.
So Couch Rider, shout out to Couch Rider Raven, man. Thanks for coming through. So you're not excited about getting a franchise QB. Here's the thing, right? Like this is B time to shine. But look, yes, they've been trying to get a franchise quarterback, and that's always been our argument here is that you have to do what it takes to get that quarterback, right? But in this case, Lamar Jackson is out there, okay? For them to come out the gate and say we're not in on him is ludicrous, right? Yep. Because why? You don't want to pay him. You don't want to pay somebody what they're worth. Somebody that you know is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. B just rattled off how many picks they've spent on quarterbacks. He didn't even talk about the money because they spent a lot of money going with the wrong quarterbacks, and now having to give up more picks to have a chance to possibly get a top tier quarterback because like Baja, formerly known as Baja, Salome had pointed out, if it's Anthony Richardson, it could be 50. I mean, any quarterback.
Well, I mean, listen, I talked about the what they gave up. I didn't talk about who they got, right? Since Cam, they've gotten Teddy Bridgewater, they got Sam Darnold, they got Baker Mayfield, they drafted Matt Corral. You know, you just hired a head coach who, you know, when you went to the Colts, they had Andrew Luck already, right? And when Andrew Luck retired, his response was Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
You know, Scott Fitterer traded. I said you want to have good pass catchers, right? Last offseason, they had signed Dan Arnold, the tight end, which I thought was a decent signing. You know, he didn't cost too much, and he's a pretty decent player. They turned around and they traded him for C.J. Henderson, right? A bust from Jacksonville, but they also traded a 3rd-round pick along with that. So, like, you're talking about this Panthers GM. He doesn't have a good track record of evaluating talent like that, right? I mean, he hasn't picked a good quarterback yet. Frank Reich hasn't picked a good quarterback yet. He's awful at trading. Like, he gets killed in these trades. They gave up 3 picks, a 2nd, 4th, and 6th for Sam Darnold. Obviously, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore for this number 1 pick. You know, a 3rd-round pick for a bust in C.J. Henderson. The one trade that you can look at and say that he won was the 6th-round pick for Stephon Gilmore, who he then let walk right out the door that same offseason. So, it's not just, hey, are you excited about getting a franchise? Yeah, they might get a franchise quarterback. They might pick the wrong player. They might pick Will Levis.
Yeah.
They might pick Anthony Richardson and not be able to develop him. They might not be able to discern between the talent, with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. They might pick the wrong guy, right? And so, like you said, to do this without even talking to Lamar Jackson is just, it's astonishing.
It's mind-numbing. Shout out to Dan D. Appreciate you. She says 42 in the chat is an off day. Hey, listen. If we get 2 people in the chat, look, we rocking with y'all. Like everybody in here that's been with us from early on knows that. Listen, if we got 1 person in here, we're gonna give you a show. So it's up to 50 now. Appreciate you, Dan D. She going in and rallying the troops. Appreciate you. Thanks for that. Well, go ahead and hit that like button. We got what did we get here? Did we get a donation?
So, yes, Cash App from Anonymous. This was actually came in before the show. It came in when the news broke. So really appreciate you. $25 donation saying DJ Moore traded to Bears. Brodny, sad news.
Oh, let me test this. My bad. I just had to redo my All right, you see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Appreciate the donation. And appreciate Mark Dybert for subscribing. He subscribed yesterday, actually.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Look, man, you guys were all in on Deshaun Watson last year.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason you didn't get Deshaun Watson was because you didn't want to guarantee that last year of the deal, right? He got 5 years, $230 million fully guaranteed. They wanted to give him essentially the same deal, except that 5th year wouldn't have been fully guaranteed. So, you're talking about like 180 or 190, somewhere around that, guaranteed, right? So that can't be your issue here with Lamar in terms of paying him. And if you were that close to paying Deshaun Watson, I don't care. Look, if I'm David Tepper, I don't care what we agreed to. I don't care what we agreed to in. He said anyone but Levis. But I don't care I don't care what we agreed to in our owner's illegal meeting, right? Our collusion meeting. I was this close to getting Deshaun Watson. I was 40-50 million off, and I'm good for it, right? So why, I'm going to at least, and I don't even know if that's what Lamar wants. If some people are saying he wants a fully guaranteed contract. Lamar's camp, according to Stephen A. Smith, said that he doesn't want a fully guaranteed contract. So at least wait to see what he wants. What's the rush?
Well, apparently the rush is the Bears wanted DJ Moore before free agency. Like, he was the key to the deal. And you guys obviously didn't really. You don't care that much about the number 1 pick because you're already shopping it, right? So, okay. Allegedly. I mean, we'll see on that. I told you, I think that the only way they move the number 1 pick is if they just move right down to 2 and they know who Houston's taking and it's not their guy. Yeah. But
hey, shout out to Tanja. Tanja says, "Hey, Jose and Brodny, I'm not driving."
Good.
Hey, good for you. Good for you. And shout out to Callie on Wheels. Appreciate you. Says, is there any wide receiver worth going first in this draft?
What, first overall? No. In the first round, yeah, several.
Yeah.
But no, not first overall.
So, yeah, listen, you paid a dear cost for a quarterback, and normally, yes, if you're not in position to get Lamar Jackson, okay, I can see you saying, "Hey, we gotta be aggressive to make sure we get the quarterback that we want." So I'm not totally down on this, because even if it is Anthony Richardson is probably the highest risk, high reward player in this draft. if he works out, and he could work out, you got a staff that can develop quarterbacks. That's great. If you get, or if it's CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, if it's one of them, okay, that's cool. As long as you get your quarterback, you can build, right? Yeah. You can build it, but it's just if you can get Lamar Jackson, what Lamar Jackson is, and the likelihood of any of these guys being as good as Lamar Jackson it's just not likely.
It's
they can be very good.
Almost zero.
Yeah, and that's not to say they're going to be, they're going to be average, right? They can be excellent and not be as good as Lamar Jackson. Like that's why you pay for talent like that. Now, shout out to Mr. J the Six. Appreciate you. I want to pull this up, B, and get your response. It says on the business side, rookie QB contract for the next 5 years, cap space for this year and next free agency class.
Yeah, all right. Look, I said on a show before, I'll say it again, the advantage is not having a rookie on a rookie quarterback on the rookie contract. That's not an advantage. It's having a great quarterback on a rookie contract. And you don't know that you're going to get that. You don't know that any of these players are going to be that. You hope, obviously. And I really like CJ Stroud. I really like Bryce Young. And obviously, everybody's intrigued by the upside of Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Especially after the show he put on at the combine. But yeah, look, I'll give you that rookie QB contract for 5 years. I'll give you all that cap space and everything, and I'll take Lamar Jackson every time.
Yeah. Shout out to Marco G for the $2 donation. Says so. Tepper would rather give up on top 10 wide receiver and multiple picks, including a first for a gamble on a QB that may be great, as opposed to giving up 2 firsts for Lamar. At this point, draft Stroud and use cap money on free agent wide receivers.
Yeah, the problem with that is there aren't really any free agent wide receivers. I mean, there's Thielen. He's older. Outside of him, there's not really much in this free agent class. They were at the Odell Beckham workout. Obviously DeAndre Hopkins is available. There's some talk about them maybe using that second round pick that they still have, number 39, to trade for DeAndre Hopkins. And I mean, I guess they have to. They have holes on defense, right? They need help at linebacker. They need help on the D line. They still need some help in the secondary, despite how much work they've put in there over the past few years. And for me, right now, all that has to go out the window because you have to rebuild the offense. Do not tell me you're sending a rookie quarterback out there throwing it to goddamn Terrace Marshall.
That's insane, man. They spent a high pick on Derek Brown. They came back in the second round, got Jeremy Chin. Good, excellent players. They spent a high first round pick on Horn, JC Horn, with Justin Fields sitting right there, man. Like that's the thing, right? When we always argue with people about passing up on a quarterback, there's no defensive player that's worth more than that franchise quarterback, right? It was as good as JC Horn is and can be, it's just not worth it to pass up on your franchise quarterback, because look what they had to do. Look what they've wasted on this journey to have to go and get this quarterback. If they end up with a good quarterback, like any of these, at least 2 of them, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, we feel good about. Anthony Richardson he's got the highest ceiling. So any one of those 3 could work out. But it's what you had to spend to get there. I mean, everybody's so focused on Lamar's contract and, it could cost that much money. Yeah. Well, first of all, what does it matter? Yeah. Right? Like, if you don't have it, I mean, you're wasting draft picks. Those can be talent right there. Right? Like getting a quarterback on a rookie deal isn't the only way to build your team. You can get wide receivers and tight ends and O-line on rookie deals as well.
Yeah, well, if you have picks. Listen, I don't want to hear about Lamar's contract. What are you going to do in 5 years for CJ Stroud or Richardson or Young? Are you going to let him walk? Are you going to trade him because you don't want to pay him? Like, you have to pay that position eventually, regardless. If you're looking for a franchise quarterback, you are going to have to pay. So why not pay the guy that you know is one of the top players in the league?
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to Yolanda B. I see you in here. Couch says, were there others in comp for the top pick with urgency? Probably. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they obviously there are several teams interested in moving up, but the reports are that they really wanted DJ Moore. Yeah. And from Carolina, and that's why, and they wanted him before the start of free agency, and that's why the deal got done now. But I mean, they were going to have to give up a ton to move up to number 1 regardless, because they're coming up from number 9, and there are other teams who like the Colts, who would be interested in moving up to that top spot to get their quarterback.
Yeah. And Spawn, I don't agree with this, but I'll read this. It says franchises don't want to pay twice for a player, especially if he's asking for $200 million plus and adding 2 firsts on top of that. That's exactly what they did last year for Deshaun Watson. They gave up 3 first-round picks.
Yeah. And that's what the Broncos did for Russell Wilson. That's what the Jets are getting ready to do for Aaron Rodgers. And like I said, you're still going to be doing that. It's just going to be spaced out. They gave up 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore, and they're going to have to pay whoever it is when their contract comes up, whether it's 3, 4, 5 years from now. So they're still going to be paying twice. It's just going to be spaced out a little bit more. So, you won't feel like it, but you still are.
Yeah. And they spent a lot of draft capital to get up to this point to get their guy, right? Because you wasted picks on Sam Darnold. You wasted picks on Baker Mayfield, Matt Corral. So, I mean, they spent a whole lot to get to this point for potential.
And Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore. Two players who I mean, DJ Moore, I think, is one of the more underrated receivers in the league. He's a very good number 1 receiver. Christian McCaffrey is one of the best players in the league. Period.
Hey, shout out to Danny. Danny said, hey, 47 people in here is not enough. We are up to 73 people in here. Salute to you, Danny. Appreciate you. 73 people in here. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you're wondering, if you're looking for the super chat, say, man, I need to get my super chat. Calm down. There are 2 ways we do super chat here. One is right below B, $ LBHTShow. That is a Cash App. Also, the pin link that you see in the chat box will take you to our stream elements. Both ways, you leave a donation, leave your comment, and Microphone Man will give you a nice little animation right here, and we will read your comment on air. Okay, that's how you do that. Shout out to our man Chris Just Joking from the Deep Cover Podcast says, I believe Stroud is the betting favorite now. Josh McCown, who's the Carolina QB coach, has a video out there breaking down CJ's tape and loving his game. Yeah. That is a talk that's who they're leaning towards. Yep, absolutely. Tanjay says, Brodny, half of your Panther fans want Lamar and half don't. They still riding off the narrative that Lamar unfairly adopted. Imagine people calling Lamar overrated. Thanks to Greg Roman. But you know what it is? Because we do it too. They all want Lamar Jackson, but half of them have to, they don't want themselves to believe that it can happen, and then have that dream taken from them. So they start making excuses. Yeah. We do the same thing here with wide receivers. We don't want a top wide receiver. You can't win with a top wide receiver. Yeah. What are we gonna do with Tyreek Hill? Get open, win a bunch of games. Psh, who wants that? Points? We don't need points. Let's get a linebacker. We do the exact same thing. Their fan base is no different. It's shout out to who left that. Oh, shout out to our guy Buck. The Buck stops here. Salute to you. Says, oh, where'd it go? Oh, I see it. Says, I definitely did not expect Carolina to trade up. Thought they would sit still and hope Richardson would fall to number 9. Appreciate it. Anonymous for the $10 donation. Says it is okay, Brodny. It is going to be okay. I am here for you, man. Hey, salute to you. All right. Wait. Okay, I read this one from Marco G. Okay. All right. Listen, B doesn't get too emotional about this, but he doesn't agree with it. And it's frustrating, right? Like, you guys, if you get your quarterback, that's the biggest part of the equation, right? And you can build from there, and you have an excellent coaching staff, at least on paper. But it's just frustrating what you had to give up. This is just a reminder of how much time you've wasted.
Yeah, it's frustrating watching them take the tougher road, because if you get the franchise quarterback, that's what really matters, right? And everybody in the chat saying, "Oh yeah, get the rookie contract, build around him." You can build around a veteran quarterback too. It is disgusting to me that the media has been able to sell this narrative that you can't build around a person because they're making money. It's absolute garbage. Yeah, I mean, the last time I checked, Pat Mahomes wasn't on this rookie deal, and they still built an offense around him, and they still tore up the NFL and won the Super Bowl this year. Like, I don't want to hear that garbage. But
the Rams, Matt Stafford ain't on a rookie deal, right? Far from it. The Rams paid everybody. They paid everybody, and they won a Super Bowl. Like you can win other ways. This is just something. Again, this is a narrative that they like to spin to try to get fans on their side, so they don't have to pay out these huge contracts. But you need. It's not about the money. It's about talent.
Right. Talent. It's not just having a rookie on a quarterback contract or the rookie contract is not an advantage at all. There are all kinds of rookie quarterbacks out there who are not competing, right? It's having a great player at that low price, at that low cost. And they're trying to sell fans on the narrative that, man, you don't have to pay anybody ever.
Right.
Right. But
the Bucks too. You're right, D3. The Bucks too.
Yeah. And it's the problem here is, like I say, if they end up getting CJ Stroud and he turns into that guy, it's all good, right? But like we talked about, look what it took to get there. They could have been years ahead of this cycle with drafting Justin Fields, right? They went and they spent all those draft picks trading for Baker, trading for Sam Darnold, taking Matt Corral. They got rid of Christian McCaffrey. They got rid of DJ Moore now. You're taking the much tougher road. When I was sitting here talking about, go out there and lose these games, and everybody's like, players don't tank, and you want your team to win. Hey, they could win the division. Yeah, guess what? They didn't. They're picking ninth, and now they had to give up 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and their number 1 wide receiver to move up to a pick that they would have just had, right? And so it's about the way that you get there. And it's funny to me because everybody talks about the lower contract and it's going to help you build and all that. I don't hear anybody talking about the lost draft picks.
Well, I want you to slow down right there, right? Because you said a lot, right? I want to backtrack because just a few weeks ago, well, where are we in March now? That more than a few weeks, a couple months ago, and we're talking about the Panthers needing to lose these, some of these games to get a high draft pick, right? Mm-hmm. We got some pushback, and that's fine. Like it's not. Again, this isn't exclusive to this fan base. Every fan base thinks that, right? Like they want to end the season on a high note and be competitive, and they don't want to just tank. I don't want my players just to tank. I don't want my players just to lay down and all this stuff, right? But you see how it directly affected the Panthers. They won a couple more games than they should have won, and now you don't have DJ Moore. Where you could have had one of these quarterbacks and still had DJ Moore, but you had to give up picks this year, picks next year, plus DJ Moore because you wanted to win a couple more games. Right, that got you nowhere. Was it worth it? No, it's not worth it
because you wanted to cheer for Steve Wilkes going 500.
Right. And Steve Wilkes ain't here. Now DJ Moore's not here, and your picks ain't here.
Yeah, and Christian McCaffrey's not here.
Not here. Not worth it, man.
Like if you weren't going to tank, you shouldn't have traded Christian to begin with.
Right.
Now, having said all that, they're in position. They're at number 1 in a class that I think has at least 2, probably, possibly 3 really good quarterbacks, and they're going to get to take the one they want. So this should be the beginning of the turnaround in Carolina. Now they have to over the next month and a half, they have to go and rebuild build the wide receiving core. The offensive line looks pretty good. They got to re-sign Bradley Bozeman, or go after another free agent center. Ben Jones just got released in Tennessee. But they need to go and find themselves a number 1 wide receiver. That could be DeAndre Hopkins. That could be Odell Beckham, whoever that is. And then, ideally you go out and get at least one other competent wide receiver. Go out and find yourself a decent tight end so that whoever you draft at the end of April isn't coming into just an awful, barren offense where they're just going to struggle. They also need to go out and get themselves a running back. So I'm not a huge fan of Deonta Foreman. I hope he gets paid somewhere else, but I'm not really big on him coming back to Carolina.
What about Jamal Williams?
No, thank you. But
hater,
that running back can come through the draft also.
Yeah.
I think it's deep.
No, I was going to let you finish your thought, and I was going to read this. Be the change you wish to see says, who in the Panthers front office has a resume of evaluation of talent? I mean, Fitterer, I guess, Fitterer got some credit for what he did in Seattle. I'm not sure how much was attributed to him. I don't know.
Yeah, nobody really. Nobody really. Chris is asking here, what free agent moves do I think they'll make? I think that they're going to push to try and get DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, that's not really a free agent move, but I think they'll push to get him, and I think that they will try to fill in on the defensive side with some cheap veteran players for now. I'm not even sure who is in free agency at tight end. Honestly, I haven't looked at tight ends because they're tight ends. No. But I think that they'll try to go and get themselves a starting tight end, a borderline starting tight end in case Tommy Tremble actually, turns things around this year. But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I looked at him and said, hey, I'd like for them to go after Richie James, but that feels very inadequate, having lost DJ Moore.
So how many? So what?
Oliver, there it is. No, y'all can. I'm gonna let y'all have that one. Nick Boyle, y'all can keep that one too. No, thank you. I appreciate the offer though.
How many picks do you guys have left?
They have a lot of picks left. They have their second round pick. They have their third round pick. And then so I think it's just the first that they're missing because they had gotten a few extra picks for trading Christian McCaffrey.
Right. Okay. So I mean, some of the answer. Look, you're gonna have to draft well, right? Mm-hmm. And Panthers fans are gonna have to understand that it might be a struggle this year, depending on who you get. Right. It's going to be a little bit of struggle because you're not going to be able to fill a lot of your holes. Right. And unless you just hit on the draft and, I'm not sure what your cap situation is looking like. You get the right free agents. I mean, you could be competitive, especially in that division. But I don't know, man. I think Adam Thielen should be on your radar. But Adam Thielen is talking about he wants to play for a contender.
Of course he does. He's 32. And he's been playing with Kirk Cousins for years.
I think
on a team that should be competing but isn't because he's playing with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Odell might. I think Odell might be one of your better bets if you're willing to give him more than a 1-year deal.
Well, that's the thing with Odell. Like, honestly, the wide receiver group is not good in free agency.
Yeah,
it's not good, and there aren't really very good options via trade either. I mean, Odell is coming off a torn ACL. He missed an entire season. He hasn't been productive in a while, right? And he hasn't stayed healthy in a while. So like that's not a great option considering the money he's gonna want, right? DeAndre Hopkins is a guy who's on the downside as well. I mean, he's still a very good player, but he's on the downside and he's going to want more money. And he said he'd be flexible with the last couple of years of his contract, but I think he meant for a contender. So you look at a guy like Mike Evans. Mike Evans is not going to be flexible on money, but Mike Evans is also close to 30 and just on a different timeline than Carolina is right now.
I'm gonna read this, and I have an idea. I have an idea of somebody you could possibly get. But shout out to DDSQ, says, "What's good, y'all? I know I'm late. Shout out to the Panthers for making a move. Also, shout out to the Bears getting their QB a wide receiver 1. Hey, salute to you, DDSQ, man. There has been a wide receiver that has been complaining about his coaching staff. Not directly taking shots, but he said, you know what the problem is, okay." Trainer, the strength and conditioning coach getting his teammates hurt. Okay. And we know in this team, once a player speaks up, they like to ship him out. I'm talking about one Rashad Bateman.
Yes.
And because we don't value offense, right? We might give him up for a 2nd round pick.
Oh, listen. Wasn't nobody gonna offer you more than that. You're gonna give him up for a 3rd because he's been hurt his first 2 years. Had 500-600 yards both seasons. So the shine is off of him, right? I still think he's very talented. Baltimore would be fools to move on from him, even though he called your GM a liar in public. But But yeah, no, I don't think it would even take a second, honestly. And third plus, maybe 1 or 2 day 3 picks. I mean, if that's something that Baltimore was actually interested in doing, I'd be very happy about that. Yeah. But they still have to do more.
Tim Passon says, "What about Keenan Allen?"
No, thank you.
You want Keenan Allen?
No, again, he's older. He's hurt all the time, and he's gonna want a ton of money.
T. Higgins. So be the change you wish to see is asking about T. Higgins. I don't think the Bengals are gonna let him go.
He wants to be paid like a top wide receiver, and the Bengals said that they're not going to trade him, but we'll see if they're going to pay him. Yeah. But right now, I mean, Carolina doesn't have the assets to trade for him anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Shout out to Fast. What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through. Manuel's Call of Duty says, Brodny, why not get Deshaun Jackson to the Panthers?
See, I know what you're trying to do, Manuel. Why don't you learn how to spell Deshaun? How about
that? Yeah, Keenan Allen been injury prone, act like he doesn't want to play. Here's the thing, though. Keenan Allen,
he like AD a little bit.
Even when he gets hurt, he still puts up 1,100 yards.
Yeah, like I said, he's
like 10 touchdowns. Yeah,
he's like AD. Yeah, I mean, 80 soft, but he put up 38 the other night. But you don't want him around.
Spawn said Odell isn't good for young QB's development. I don't agree.
Why is he not good for a young QB's development?
He's talking about Baker.
Because Baker sucks?
Yeah. I mean, Baker's best year was his rookie year. Yeah, and it was just downhill from there. I mean, that had nothing to do with Odell. John just says, y'all, we never had 5 picks, and we don't even have a number 2, but we don't have a lot of holes, though, on the Ravens team. We have a lot of holes on the Ravens team.
Yeah, I was gonna agree with you on that one.
You take out Lamar and look at that offense, and I mean, it doesn't look good. Shout out to KP for a $1 donation. Says, which QB do you prefer?
I would want CJ Stroud, then Bryce Young, then Anthony Richardson, and then go defense.
Okay. So Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
No Will Levis.
No Will Levis. I don't want it. Best of luck to him. I don't want him to fail, but
what do you think about Brandon Cooks?
Brandon Cooks, I think, is a decent option because, I mean, he is older like the other guys, but he's been on a lot of teams and he's consistently productive no matter where he's at, no matter what scheme he's playing in, no matter what quarterback he's playing with. And I don't think that he's not in the same price range as those other guys. But like I said, he's a very, very reliable player.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be too upset about that. I don't know that Houston is looking to move him because Houston, they're in that same spot, right? Yeah. They're about to bring in a rookie quarterback. You have to have somebody to throw to.
Emily T Sports says Prochet is cheap. It's Prochet. You didn't even spell his name right. That's how little you respect the man. Yeah, but listen. Somebody gotta inspire this wide receiver core that we have, right? You gotta be Prochet. That's Prochet's job. Shout out to Henny for the $10 donation. Says, is Hands a stone wide receiver 1 now?
I told you Terrace Marshall Jr. is currently the wide receiver 1 in Carolina. That's why I put him on the trade block. I said, come and get him. I've had inquiries into him already. I'm just looking for draft picks.
You guys still have Shot Smith?
Here's the here's the thing. Y'all lack vision. Okay. I told y'all about Jordan Love. Every time I offered Jordan Love to somebody, y'all laughed at me. And now Buck's got a starting quarterback on his roster because Buck has vision.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Tanja. She said, well, besides Lamar, I was saying that considering Lamar's back. No, okay, well, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying if you take Lamar off the offense, there's nobody on there that you like. You know what I'm saying? Like when Lamar is out there, this is the difference that a quarterback can make. He can make average players look good, bad players look at least average. So we're looking at these guys like, oh, they're not bad, but if you take them off the offense, you're like, yuck, get rid of everybody. right? Nobody looks good, and I'm saying that as a fan of Rashad Bateman, who I think can be good, when he's healthy and better coaching. But on this offense, and Lamar's not out there, yeah, no, thank you. Like I need a game changer, somebody that can transcend poor coaching. Yeah, man. Shout out to DDSQ. He says, watch Frank Wright push for Will Levis. He made comments at the combine about being old school and wanting a QB that could win from the pocket at the combine. Yeah, those days are over. If your coach thinks that way, he can say whatever he wants to say. They throw a lot of smoke screens around this time. But if he truly thinks that way, yeah, that's not your guy. The league is changing.
He wanted Derek Carr.
Yeah. Spawn said Baker's production without Odell in the lineup was significantly better, but Cleveland is consistently a mess. What was his production with the Panthers?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he have, what was his record? Like he had like the longest first half streak of not completing a pass or something like that. Well, it was something jarring. They're like, yeah, it was like 3 weeks in. They're like, yeah, this would be like the third week in a row where he hasn't completed a pass in the first 2 quarters.
But here's the thing about saying that though, Spawn. Baker only produced in his first year, really.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, man. What's this?
He's a bad player.
Yeah. I don't want to make this a Ravens stream, but yeah, listen, man. Like the Ravens don't have anything going on offense, right? That's why it's so important to get that quarterback. Kylie on Wheel says, I think there might be a good amount of elite wide receiver in free agency.
Well, name one elite wide receiver in free agency.
Not elite, no. There isn't a single one, right? Maybe Odell if he can, get back to form, but that's a big maybe.
It's been a long time since Odell's been an elite wide receiver.
Yeah. Yes, Danity, 85 in the chat on a surprise stream. Hit the like button and subscribe. # road to 1,500. It is a road to 1,500. Yes. And thank you, Danity, because Danity said, hey, she went and rang the alarm, said, everybody wake up. LBHT is streaming. But speaking of 1,500, our guy Hendo from Ravens Online on Gatekeepers is very close to 1,500. So if you don't mind, please go over there and hit the subscribe button real quick to get our guy there, okay? We like to hit goals over here, all right? # goals, all right? So go over there and hit the subscribe button. Also, you saw our friend Chris in the chat earlier. You can find him on the Deep Cover podcast, all right? Go over there, hit the subscribe button over there as well. I'm going to go through the whole list, man. This is all Ravens Roundtable approved channels, okay? Open mic with OTR Mike, okay, where the mic is open for any discussion, no matter who it is, where it is, or what it is. Did I get that right?
That's right.
I stuck it. Yes, I stuck the landing. And you can find all of us Monday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time on SIP2 Tally Films. That is Coach Evans' channel. Make sure you're over there, subscribe. Every Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time for the Ravens Roundtable, all right? So go over there and subscribe to all those channels. Also, we got another channel over here. If you like boxing, Ring Kings Podcast. All right. We got a top 10 pound for pound list. Boy, are we getting some mixed feelings about that pound for pound list. But go check it out. We have a lot of fun with that stuff. Okay. Now, okay. Let's read some more comments here. Hey, we appreciate you, Chris. Thank you for coming through and supporting us. Salman Baja, I was gonna call you Baja. Getting Bateman wouldn't be crazy. A second and next year's third.
You ain't getting a second and third for that, dude.
Not right now. Like I do it too. Don't get me wrong. Is it Salome Man? Yeah, Salome Man. Don't get me wrong. I do it too as a fan, right? I overvalue our players, but that is what we're doing. We're overvaluing our players right now. I think Bateman can be that guy still. He's young, and he seems like that guy that's hungry for the ball. I like that he called out the coaching staff. But right now his value is low because he doesn't have the production in 2 years. He's been hurt. So nobody's going to give up a whole lot for him. And there's a bunch of wide receivers coming into the draft now. right? And there's better established wide receivers available out there, whether through free agency or trade, right? Yeah. So they're not going to give up a lot. Yes, he is 8 away, 8 subs away. We have 87 people in here. Now, last week something amazing happened, B, right?
What's that?
I forget his name. Anon subscribed, and B said, "Wait a minute, Anon, you've been coming in here every week, and this is only now you're subscribing."
Mm-hmm.
So I hit the pause button real quick. I said, "Okay, everybody, I know things are moving fast, and YouTube likes to suggest our stuff to you all the time, and it feels like you're subscribed, but go make sure you're subscribed. Go and check and make sure it says subscribed. I need you to go do that real quick for Ravens Online on Gatekeepers, because when we said that, make sure you're subscribed, we had like 12 people that realized, oh, I'm not subscribed. Let me hit the subscribe button. So just take a second, right? I'm sure you've seen some of Hendo's stuff. You're like, yeah, I know Hendo, man. I see his videos all the time. Just make sure it says subscribe, because YouTube likes to play games. Sometimes you subscribe and they unsubscribe you just to test you out, to make sure you're paying attention. So go ahead and subscribe real quick. Let's get our man 8 away. We need 8 people in here to get him to 1,500. Please and thank you. Kogan Sheriff says Carolina about to trade up in the draft for their QB and replace Moore with another DJ in free agency, DJ Chark.
That'd be a very sad day.
Listen, man, look, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? If you get the right QB, maybe even this year, you'll forget. You'll start to forget what you gave up, right? Once you get the guy and you're winning, you forget what you gave up. But right now it stings, obviously, because you could have just had Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
You could have had your guy already and already start to build up this team. This team could already be in position where everybody's talking about them as contenders.
You know what would make me feel better? If you trade Brian Burns for 2 firsts and a second, like you were offered.
Yes, that was reported that they were offered 2 firsts and a second.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, you just had to give up Brian Burns to get your quarterback. That's not worth it. Like it's just that's just, it's mind-boggling. Like the mistakes that these teams make. Like we knew at the time, J.C. Horn was a mistake, right? When you're a fan, you want to kind of see the positives that your team makes, and you don't want to criticize them. But we were criticizing them, man. Like it was a bad pick. You don't have a quarterback. We knew Sam Darnold wasn't going to work out. We knew that, right? Why do we as fans lie to ourselves about players that we already know about? Sam Darnold is a bust.
And it wasn't even just that, they just passed on Justin Fields. He was like the 6th best pick at that spot. Arguably wasn't even the best corner to take at that spot. They could have taken Justin Fields. They could have taken Rashawn Slater. They could have taken Devontae Smith. They could have taken Jalen Waddle. They could have taken Patrick Surtain Jr. There was a lot of guys that they could have gone at that spot, and J.C. Horn was way down the list.
Yeah, he's a good corner, but he's not a game changer.
No,
like your secondary isn't great. Not bad, but not great. And you could have gotten a cornerback later. When they say, "Oh, we can get a quarterback later on," you can get your cornerbacks later. Get your quarterback first. Fix your O-line. Okay, get him some weapons. Then worry about the defense. Which one you reading, B?
Spawn saying the league has transitioned to who can outscore the Chiefs. Doesn't matter what your defense is ranked, considering the rules favor the offense. That's true. Which was why it doesn't make sense to give up DJ Moore.
It doesn't. But it's easier to place a wide receiver than it is, or find a wide receiver than it is to find a quarterback. So
yeah, but you could have had a better quarterback and not given up DJ Moore.
I agree. No. I'm not making an excuse for what they did. They absolutely just made the wrong move with that. I'm just saying it's a mistake that they can come back from. Right?
Yeah. A player like DJ Moore is not easy, but yeah, it can be done.
When I say come back from, I mean it's not easy, but they can come back this year. We named some options at wide receivers, not the best, but definitely not the worst. If you get the right QB, your team doesn't look bad, right? Like you can win sooner rather than later if you get the right pieces in there. Now you can do that if you have the right QB. But as we saw, when you got the wrong QB, it took years and money and draft picks to make up for it, right? Like that's a cost too. And like we were talking about cost, yeah, you could have just paid for Lamar and kept everything, right? Okay, you get your 2 first-round picks. So what?
Yeah.
Let's see. Andy T Sports says, "Did y'all hear Mike Florio call Lamar Jackson stupid? He should get an agent." I mean, Mike Florio, we don't care about him, man. He needs Lamar to stay in business. Shout out to KP for the $1 donation. It says, "I'm late, but do you like the trade up?"
So, having said all of that, all the problems with it, yeah. I mean, we always say here that if you identify your guy, you go get your guy. I honestly don't think that they've decided who their guy is yet, but they went up to a spot where they can get their guy no matter who it is. So I like that they were aggressive in building the coaching staff. I like that they're aggressive in trying to go get their quarterback. The only thing that I don't like is, and again, this isn't anything the team has said, but when fans talk about, oh, now he's on a rookie deal and you got all this cap space. Like, if you have all this cap space, why are you worried about what they're going to pay Lamar?
Right.
That's all. That's my thing, because you already had a wide receiver. You already have the O-line. You could fill in the blanks with your draft picks that you would still have, and then it doesn't matter that you have a bunch of cap space.
It is weird, right? Like they're so hyper focused on what a player gets paid, and I hate when somebody says, "Oh, they made enough money." You don't ever say that about the billionaire owners. Like, do you guys ever question when billionaires raise ticket prices? You ever say, "Do you not have more than enough money?" Right? When they raise the prices on beer and hot dog, whatever you guys buy at the stadium, like, do you guys ever say, "Man, like you guys gotta stop that"? Oh, PSL prices went up again. Oh, that's just business. Yeah, but that affects you if you want to go to the game, right? Lamar's salary ain't affecting you. That doesn't come doesn't come out your pocket, right? That comes out of their collectively bargained share. That is the players' pool. That's their players' money.
But so like I said, all that said, I think that they're going to end up with either CJ Stroud or Stroud, Young, or Richardson, one of the three. I'll be happy with any of the three. I think that Stroud and Young will both be day one starters, and I think they're both going to be good quarterbacks in the league. I lean more towards Stroud since the championship game where he showed that he can play very well under pressure. So, honestly, like I say, as long as the quarterback works out, it sucks to say, but it's not going to matter that you traded DJ Moore, right? Like you'll replace him eventually. It's the same thing that I said with Brian Burns and JC Horn and Chin and them. Like, you can trade them and you can replace them. You can replace DJ Moore. It looks like a lot today. But if they make the right pick, meaning not Will Levis, I expect them to win the division next year.
What's up, Raven C? Raven C says, Anthony Richardson going to the Panthers. Now, okay, we got to discuss this possibility because Anthony Richardson had a great combine. And you know what I say about players that going to the combine and run that 40 time. 40 times change the hearts and minds of the greatest evaluators. Okay, so it doesn't. So for a lot of people out there that kind of said, "Hey, this is what we have Anthony Richardson as." As soon as he ran that 40 and jumped through the roof, right? They're just like, "What I see is great potential." Right? They crossed out, off my board or not a first round pick to let's move him up there. Great potential. We can work with him, right? Good enough passer. We can work with that. Now, that could have been somebody. I mean, look, we talked about you guys getting him at 9, right? But obviously he's not going to fall to 9 at this point, right? Too many people are in on him. If that was their guy and they said, "Hey, we just want to go to number 1 to ensure that we get him." Obviously you and I don't feel as good about him as the other 2 quarterbacks, but there is that potential there, right? He could be great.
I'm not even that down on Anthony Richardson. Like, I think I have him right there with those other two guys. And a lot of that is because of like Doug Farr and Matt Waldman, who, spent a lot of time kind of breaking down his film from Florida last year, where obviously he did, if he was watching, it didn't look great, but they kind of break down, what happens on each play and or some of those things really his fault, or, was it the wide receivers, or, just whatever happens, right? The thing with Anthony Richardson that it comes down to, I think, is how hard he's going to work to fix, the issues in his mechanics and everything, because they can be fixed. And if he has the work ethic, they have the coaches. He just needs more. He needs more experience. He needs more reps. And if they have to throw him out there this year and just take their lumps and let him get his reps so he can improve, then so be it. If you have a guy who you think can be the next Cam or Josh Allen, or whoever you kind of envision him as. So yeah, I wouldn't be mad about them taking Anthony Richardson at all. It's just, right now, right when the trade is announced, we gave up a lot and we didn't get anything. And who are they going to throw to? Right. Yeah. We got to see the follow-up moves, because there's always follow-up moves. They have that second round pick. Now maybe they hold on to it and they take a wide receiver in the draft. Maybe they trade that for DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe they try to make something happen for Mike Evans. Maybe it's just free agency. But we got to wait and see exactly what the plan is for that offense, because they have the offensive line, and at least in theory, they're going to have the quarterback. So those are the two most important things on a football team, period. Yeah. And if they have those two things, the rest of it should fall into place for them.
Yeah. Shout out to Alex Rita, says all that cap space, except now you have to go use it on an overpriced free agent because you have fewer premium draft picks to build a strong young core around your new QB. First of all, nobody has that many premium draft picks. A premium draft pick is a first round pick.
I think I throw second in there.
Okay, second. Okay, no team has that many premium picks, and overpriced. You like an overpriced player is a player that's not good, right? When you get a player that's good, is Tyreek Hill overpriced? I don't think so.
No.
He in fact, if he went to them and said, I need a little bit more money, I'd be like, done.
And even you remember last year, very early in free agency, the guy who everybody was laughing at was Christian Kirk, and they were not laughing at the end of the season.
They were not. They were not.
He may not be a great receiver, but he's a good receiver, and he made the plays that Jacksonville needed him to make. All of them.
Yeah. So overpriced, I mean, like that's what you want to avoid any team, right? You don't want to pay for somebody that doesn't live up to his paycheck. But that comes with scouting, that comes with evaluating. That's on the coaches in the front office.
Yeah, because the other part of that people rarely talk about, they don't like to talk about, is most of your draft picks don't work out.
Correct.
Most of them.
And if speaking of premium picks, all the Ravens usually do is waste away their second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that I got to the point where I'm just like, I wish they would just trade a second round pick for a player because they never hit on him. Right. And I mean, we have J.K. Dobbins. That's the closest we've gotten to hitting. But since then, or other than that, I mean, it has not looked good. My first rodeo, what's going on? Thanks for coming through. It says, terrible trade, fellas. Now your rookie quarterback is not going to have a number one wideout, not even a proven number two, unless a free agent. Yeah, that's the plan, I think. Trading DJ Moore puts your rookie quarterback in a bad spot.
Well, that's today.
Yes.
Now, what do you say if they trade for DeAndre Hopkins? Then you have a proven number one wide receiver, and you can still go into free agency and get that number two. Or you can even give Terrace Marshall a chance to step up and be the number two. I mean, I think they should bring in somebody to at least compete for that spot. But again, it's today. It stings because DJ Moore is gone right now, and you don't know what the plan is to replace him. But I'm sorry. I almost said they had to have a plan to replace him, but then I remembered that we're a Ravens show, and you traded your number one wide receiver and did not replace him. So you would hope that they have a plan to replace him. Most teams have a plan to replace players that they get rid of like that.
So, hey, Mr. J, I want to pick on you a little bit because Mr. J is Mr. Positive, man. Yeah, like Mr. Positivity.
That's why we love Mr. J.
Absolutely. He says, willing to take the lumps and criticisms of today's trade, but I believe in the plan, all feelings aside. And the reason why I'm picking on you is because, you know, B criticizes the Panthers. You're like, B, you're too hard on them, right? Like when B said you need to be losing, you were like, nah, we need to win. We gotta do it for Wilkes, right? Had the Panthers listened to B, you wouldn't be taking as many lumps right now, right? You would just be up there within range, and you wouldn't have to, even if you had to make a trade up a little bit, you wouldn't have to trade as much. Probably wouldn't have to give up DJ Moore, right? Mm-hmm. Or the picks, one or the other. Like you don't feel like the Panthers messed up at any point, you know, during this process, you know, from Sam Darnold. I mean, okay, take Sam Darnold. We all know they made a mistake with Sam Darnold and Baker, but from the time they fired, they fired what's his name? What's the coach's name? Mr. Jay-Z. Yeah. I'm like Jay-Z. Matt Rule. From the time they fired Matt Rule up until this point, you don't think they've made any mistakes that you're just like, damn, like they should have done one or the other, right? I mean, I think so. I think that this is why nobody likes their team losing when you're watching the games, but it's necessary, and you're already losing. Okay, you had a shot to make the playoffs. I get that, but realistically, you weren't going to go anywhere. You would have ended up just like Tampa Bay, getting stomped out by the Cowboys. You don't want to see that.
By the right? Cowboys.
You don't want to see that.
An embarrassment of an organization.
Lose 2 or 3 more games. Shout out to Platinum Steel for subscribing.
Thank you.
Everybody be awesome like Platinum Steel, and make sure you subscribe. Okay, it takes 2 seconds. Click that subscribe button. Appreciate you. Lose 2 or 3 more games, and you're right there. Okay, like that won't cost you anything. Okay, this whole I want my team to be competitive. I don't want them to lay down. Okay, great job. Now you gave up one of your best offensive pieces.
And I was about to say, firing Matt Rule when they did was a mistake. He would have tanked correctly. They fired him, and it inspired the team to play a little better. They love Steve Wilkes. They won all these games. Matt Rule would have had them in that number one pick locked up by like week 13.
Now be careful, Chris, because Matt Rule, he is looking for any kind of praise. And he will find this comment that you made, and he will be saying that the next interview from Matt Rule, he will steal your line.
Matty, hit that subscribe button. All right.
Matt Rule, man, he's still doing interviews about how it wasn't his fault with the Panthers. He actually had them on the right track. That's what he said.
Well, you know, it is funny. I'm not to defend Matt Rule. Matt Rule was a terrible coach, but it's funny because he put together that whole defense, right? That was his thing. Building the defense, getting all those guys on defense, and that's the part of the team that everybody loves.
Yeah,
but you hate Matt Rule though. You wouldn't have J.C. Horn if not for Matt Rule. You would have Justin Fields.
Everybody loves that part, but they're not that great.
No, they're not. They're not very good.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're not that great. Mr. J says, "Yeah, I agree with his takes. We should have lost. Yeah, so today's trade shouldn't have happened. At the same time, mentally seeing them win, have some backbone after slime rule was was nice to see. I agree. No. I totally get what you're saying. Right? Because I would be a hypocrite if I said you can't think that way. Like as a fan, you want to see your team compete, right? Mm-hmm. Especially if you have a chance to make the playoffs, you want to see them do it. But you have to think long term. You don't have a quarterback. If you had your quarterback, that's completely different. If that was Justin Fields, man, go play, right? Yeah, go play. Like, sure, okay, you like to have as highest pick as possible to get the best talent as possible, but you have your quarterback. Go out there, get some playoff experience, and then we'll work it out. It's easier to find those other pieces if you have your quarterback.
Yeah, because you know what else? You know what else they lost today? having won all those games and picking ninth and having to trade up to number 1, they lost Marvin Harrison Jr. No shot at him now.
Yeah. So I mean, you're gonna have to look in. I mean, what's the LSU kid's name? Butte. That's what you're looking at.
Oh, good Lord, no.
Somebody said that's how he plays too.
Zing! Keyshawn Knight.
79 people in here. Hit that like button, and if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I had to give you one dad joke, okay? Just one. All right. Look. All right. We've been here for an hour. We're not going to spend too much more time here. But look, if you're just joining, obviously we're here talking about the breaking news. The Panthers trade up to number 1. I'm really surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, for a while prior to the combine, I thought they were going to sit at 9 and take whatever quarterback fell to them. And it was probably going to be Anthony Richardson, and then Anthony Richardson blew up the combine. And I honestly still think that's where they're going. I think they're looking at Houston, and that's why that report came out that they're still, open trading down. I think they're looking at Houston and thinking they want C.J. Stroud, so they're talking about C.J. Stroud being the guy, kind of putting that out there. And that they will trade down to 2 and take Anthony Richardson at number 2.
We haven't, we've gone over an hour. We haven't talked about what Chicago has gotten from this.
Yeah,
they've gotten really good.
Yeah, they've got Justin Fields, DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney, and several extra premium picks. Oh, also Cole Kmet and David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert and Kari Blasingame. Their offense, I mean, obviously they still need to work on the O-line, as basically like 29 of the 32 teams do. But they're in a spot now where they're really primarily just looking at rebuilding their defense and letting Justin Fields grow with all of the weapons that he has around him now. So he's in a spot, and this is kind of what we've always talked about with Lamar, right? Fields hasn't played particularly well. He played much better last year, and he was throwing the ball better, and he was making timely runs, to score them points when they needed it. But it was always, doesn't really have enough around him, doesn't have an O-line. Now, there's not really going to be any excuses for Justin Fields. You got DJ Moore as a proven number 1. You got Chase Claypool, who's a good receiver. He's a bit of a knucklehead, but he's a talented guy. Darnell Mooney's a 1,000-yard receiver. Cole Kmet came on last season, and now it's on Justin Fields to make that offense run. And that's kind of what we always wanted for Lamar. Put Lamar in a position where you can't point at the O-line and say, oh, well, look at the O-line. You can't point at the wide receivers and say, oh, well, he doesn't have any help at wide receiver. Give him everything he needs and then see if he succeeds or fails. Now, obviously, Lamar would have succeeded. He succeeded without all that stuff. Yeah. But, that's the situation that Justin Fields is in now. He's got the wide receivers. He's got the tight end. He's got the running backs. They still have some work to do on the O-line, but he's got to go out there and make it work now.
Yeah, man. Other teams are starting to get it. They're starting to get it. You saw what Philly did for Jalen Hurts, and it looks like the Bears are trying to do the same thing for Justin Fields, where it looked like that maybe they could possibly trade him. They're like, no, we about to stack up for this guy. Wait, before I see you reading something, but I want to pull this up because I might be looking at the same thing. 410 Byron says they could still trade Burns for a first and a second round pick. Byron, it's too late, man. If you trade, like, yes, technically they could, but if they trade him now, like, we'll be at a point of trading DJ Moore, right? If you could still get that first, it was 2 firsts and a second. It was 2 firsts for a second in a second. But if you can get something similar to that now, why did you give a DJ Moore in that trade?
And I don't think that was an offer from the Rams, and I don't think that offer is there anymore, and I don't think anybody else is going to make you that offer. That was a ridiculous offer.
Oh, from the Rams. So that wasn't even this year. That was in like 2028 or something like that.
Well, one of the first round picks wasn't this year, but it was next year, and then I believe the following year. But yeah, no, it's a ridiculous offer. He's not worth that.
Yo,
which is why you should have said yes immediately.
The Rams do not care about picks
at
all. As soon as they get a first round pick, they see about coming down the hill. They're like, hey, send it packing.
Not up in here.
What's up, Nitro? Says, man, y'all came out with the show unexpected. Yeah. Appreciate you coming through. Make sure you subscribe to our guy Nitro, the Wonderkin Show. Appreciate you coming through, man. Yeah, man. I mean, look, the Bears, well done, right? And they moved down to 9, right? And this is the situation that the Panthers could be in. You have your quarterback, because they should have had Justin Fields. You have your wide receiver, right? You got your O lineman because you picked up Ikem Ekwonu this year. You got at least one tackle. The O line is starting to come together, and now you could have been sitting at 9, 10, 11, whatever. You probably would have more games, but you could have been sitting there in the first round with not that need a quarterback, and you could be looking at, like you said, Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, and for Chicago, I mean, yeah, maybe they go with the tackle from Northwestern, offensive tackle, but maybe they go with Jalen Carter, who a lot of people are projecting to maybe fall out of the top 10, but who everybody has as the best player in the draft, and they have that whole they have that game wrecker in the middle of their defense again, thanks to Carolina.
Yeah, and they're saying Roquan who, right? Yeah, they have our pick too, by the way. Just want you to know that. They have our second round pick.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're going to have to look out for the Bears next year, man. They're going to come up big. And the way Fields played down the stretch, very promising.
By the way, I just want to put it out there right now. If Carolina is on the clock at 1, like if wherever they're on the clock, if they make their pick and Roger Goodell says the Panthers select Will Levis, I will be a Bears fan before pick 9.
It won't be Will Levis. Daniel Franklin says Bears should go get Orlando Brown next week. Oh, okay. Looks like they get it now. Ravens are one of the only teams still clinging to that ball control. Orlando Brown will be interesting.
Yeah, there are. He's probably he's the best left tackle available. So like if they can go, I don't know exactly how much cap space they have, but if they can go and sign Orlando Brown, there's 3 or 4 really good right tackles available. And if they can go and sign one of them, again, you start to solidify your line. You can fill in the middle of the line in those middle rounds, with those extra seconds and thirds that they have, and you're looking at what potentially a pretty scary offense.
Yeah. Xavier Smith, this is off topic, but because you're a patron, I'll let it slide. He says this is off topic. However, I was watching the Giants versus Vikings game and it made me sick. Schemed open wide receivers. That never happens in Baltimore. Hopefully it happens this year, man. That's all I can say. I don't have a lot of faith in Todd Monken, right? Maybe it works out. I don't know. And it's not even as so much about Todd Monken as it is about the organization. Like they don't put a lot of effort into offense, man. So I don't know what it's gonna be. Yeah. What are you reading?
Oh, man, Mr. Positivity. I don't know how much more mental strength I have left if Roger Goodell says Will Levis. I just don't. That's all right, man. You come with me to Chicago, man.
Hey, it's all good. Xavier says thanks. Hey, thank you for being a patron. And speaking of Patreon, okay, all right. Patreon.com. Let me make it bigger for you guys. Patreon.com/LBHTShow. That's how you can support this channel even further. We appreciate the donations tonight on this pop-up stream. Thank you so much. But I also want to add, if you have $3, as little as $3, okay, we got higher tiers, okay, if you're feeling really generous, but as little as $3 a month, you can sign up. You get access to our Discord, right? We're not able to read every single comment in the chat like we used to, but if you go over to our Discord, that conversation is going on 24/7, right? We're in there constantly. You have other content creators. Coach was in there. You see Ferris, Shug, a bunch of people in there. Raven C just joined the Discord. So you're definitely getting that alone is your money's worth. But B is going to give you some other reasons to sign up to our Patreon.
Yeah, so like as I said, we have the $3 tier. That kind of is a general support tier. It gets you into the Discord and everything. But it also gets you into our NFL Pick'em League that we do every year, where we give away a custom LBHT trophy to the winner. This year, we switched it over to a plaque because Mike broke the trophy. Mike is ineligible for further prizes. We have the $10 tier, which gets you the LBHT crew coin that Jose has right there. Looking very nice. That is the overall kind of logo for our channels. Obviously, we got the new microphone man just for lunch, the LBHT show. We also have the Dynasty League at the $10 tier, where we give away a custom championship belt. I have that picture right here.
Okay.
So we're going to be going with another company for this upcoming season. We're going to upgrade the belt a little bit, but that's what it looked like this year. Congratulations to Buck for winning that. And the first 4 winners, as you see on the sides there, get to put their chosen logo onto the belt, just to give it a little bit of history as we move forward. We also have a redraft league going on just for fun, but if there's enough interest, we'll convert that into a second Dynasty league as well. And then we have the $20 tier, which is a combined tier for this show, as well as our boxing podcast, Ring Kings podcast, that we do with OTR Mike. So that'll get you everything that I mentioned, as well as our custom poker deck featuring our top 25 fighters of all time. Very high quality poker decks. If you're into playing cards, and you're into boxing, kind of a no-brainer there. And definitely just go over to the channel, hit subscribe, check out the 5-part series on our top 25 fighters of all time. It was a lot of fun. Had some guests on with us. It was a great time. And maybe coming soon, we might have some even higher tiers for those of you who wish to be content creators yourselves.
What? Like our guy Big Reg? I know you in here. Let me find you. There he is, living big with Big Reg. We are so proud of Big Reg, man. Been checking out your videos. He just put one out yesterday or day before. Living with a Big Heart. Awesome video. Check it out. Subscribe. Okay. Support the family. Okay. Big Reg's family. And we're happy for him. We're glad that he started up. We hope you continue the journey. But if you are a new content creator, I gotta double check, make sure I got that in the description. It should be in the description. We have 2 affiliate links that can help you getting started. If you're struggling with titles, thumbnails, descriptions, things of that nature, okay, we have two links that can help you, for a nominal fee, okay, and it helps out the show as well, okay. Just being transparent, but go in and click on it. You got one for TubeBuddy, you got one for vidIQ, okay. I use both of them. I use both of them to help craft my titles. And in fact, I'll show them. vidIQ has a little AI thing to help you type your titles now. So
it really wants to let you know what everything means.
Yes,
every single title is like, yo, what does it mean?
yes, it told me, so Jose, you have to put what could this mean in your title. I said, all right, man, you win. So hey, like I said, if you're thinking about it, and look, they have a lot of they have a YouTube channels too. Like I encourage people, if you're starting out, go check out their channels, and they give you a lot of tips. But if you're going to sign up, and if you like to support the channel, click on the affiliate link in our description. All right. Listen, we're about to get out of here, man. We'll a couple more comments, and let's get going. Let's see. Winnikin Show. Nitro says they had the most cap space and a crap load of picks, and they got a QB with the wide receiver, with wide receivers.
Yeah. So yeah, they could go hard at O-line and free agency, and then use those picks to really fill out the defense. And I mean, if they walk away from this draft having picked up an extra future first, an extra second this year and a couple years from now, DJ Moore, and then they can draft Jalen Carter, I think you have to call that a win.
Yeah.
Pretty big win.
$86 million in cap space, man.
For me and my Bears.
They are going to come up.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just in free agency, man. Like they can still make trades. They have all the picks.
Yeah.
Like I mean, never mind what's out there in free agency. Forget that, right? Okay, Orlando Brown, sure, yeah, come on down. But if they say, yeah, we like Chase Claypool, Mike Evans is better, right? Like they can do that.
Yeah.
Giants, you don't want to pay Saquon? We'll take him.
No. He's not. He's not going to Chicago.
Titans, the rumors that Titans are looking to shop. My God.
He's not going to Chicago. Listen, I have Khalil Herbert on my team. They're not bringing in another running back.
If they got King Henry over there, I might be a Chicago fan.
Not gonna happen. It's Khalil Herbert season.
Okay, Brent says he's going to check that out. Appreciate that. You know what else you guys can check out? Because look, there's still 70 people in here. Might as well plug it. You like what we're wearing? Do you guys like the attire that we wear on the show? I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, but this is ours. Okay, we own it. All right. You like my shirt that I'm wearing? That's what it actually has right here. If I don't have my blue screen effect, you'll see more of that purple there. That's a Raven City logo or design that we had somebody craft for us. Okay, you can get that on the store. You can also get this in the store. Okay, that guy, don't mind his face. He was crying because we told him to take the shirt off. Okay, once the photo shoot's done, take it off. He was like, I thought I could keep it. Said, no, you gotta pay for it. Okay, you can get one at LBHTShow.com/shop. Go check out the merch. We got a lot of stuff over there. All right.
Brent, I believe that would be ourselves.
Huh? What did Brent say?
Brent's asking who's your sponsor.
Who's your sponsor? Ourselves. That's right. We sponsor ourselves. Okay. We have a lot of products here that we hope you guys enjoy. People love the beanie. I'm gonna bring this back up. You see what that young lady's wearing right there? I got one. It's very comfortable. We joke a lot about our clothes being Egyptian-like cotton. That is Egyptian-like cotton. I felt that thing for the first time. I was like, oh yes. Yeah. So that's a very popular one right there. This Ravens City shirt, Ravens fans love that one. That Panthers one, I saw Mr. J the 6 wearing that hoodie. That is dope. There's also another one here. I don't have the picture, but we have one of Microphone Man. When I saw Hendo's rocking the blue one, I was like, I need that. I need that. So yeah, you guys go check it out. But all right. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, B? Because look, we're gonna talk about this more on Wednesday.
Look, I'll close out by repeating what I said. By the time the draft rolls around and training, thank you, Jay, and training camp and the season starts and everything, you're gonna forget, like you said, you're gonna forget what you gave up for it. As good as DJ Moore is, he's replaceable. You'll forget about DJ Moore as long as the quarterback can play. And I think that Carolina, I'm saying it now, Carolina wins that division next year.
Oh, bold. Look, it's early. This is early reactions. Okay, this is before free agency. This is before the Lamar sweepstakes. Oh, I wanted to bring this up real quick for Ravens fans.
Hey! Atlanta said they're out, and you can't come back in. All right.
I just want real quick, Ravens fans. Now that the Panthers have moved up and they're definitely getting one of those quarterbacks, right? I mean, yeah, okay, yes, Will Levis is there, whatever, right? Nobody wants him.
That's not nice.
Sorry. Now you're essentially looking at two spots, right? Somebody will settle on Will Levis. We know that. You have Atlanta, Tampa, Colts, and Houston's getting the one of those, right? So that's two. That's two spots that we know.
And possibly Detroit. Detroit's picking, I believe, 6th.
Okay.
They could possibly move up.
So one Panthers are getting a quarterback, and 2 Houston. That's 1 and 2. Yeah. So 2 quarterbacks out the gate are gone. The number 3 pick is the Cardinals. The Cardinals don't need a quarterback, obviously, so they'll probably be shopping that pick. So you have Atlanta, Colts, Tampa, possibly. Who else am I forgetting? Raiders. So that's at least 4 teams. That are going to try to get one spot. Only one can get it. Mm-hmm. So what are the rest going to do? Because they need a quarterback, right? So, okay, one of them gets that spot. There's 3 teams left that need a quarterback. One of them is going to get Will Levis. There's 2 more teams at least. There's some other teams I'm probably not even thinking about. But 2 teams at least, they need a quarterback. You bet your ass Lamar Jackson's going to get some calls. And shout out to Anonymous for a $30 donation on the way out. Says, greetings, everyone. Thank you for the stream. Hey, thank you, Anonymous. Look, we're about to get out of here, but just want to point out again, if you're looking for super chats, because people are like, hey, I don't see a super chat. You see it. It's right there. $, LBHTShow. That's the Cash App. Also, that pin link. Don't be afraid to click on that link. Okay. It's safe. Okay. That'll take you to our Stream Elements page, right? Both places, you leave your donation, leave your comment, and you get the animation right next to my face. All right. But remember that for next time, because we are up out of here. I can't believe we went almost an hour and a half talking about this. And look who came right at the very end. Says, wait. I didn't know y'all were going live. I sent you an email, Mikey. You always get the links.
That's all right, Mike. We're going live tomorrow night after the fight, too. So
who's fighting tomorrow?
Tim Zhu and Tony Harrison.
Oh man, we're gonna be doing a lot of live streaming. You're gonna be seeing a lot of our faces.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, we got cut these short. What's up, Add to Pop? Why is the media trying to say Lamar wants a guaranteed contract, and has Lamar come out and say he wants this thing? Listen, man, we know what it is. We already know what it is with the media. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is at this point. Next week, teams are going to make offers, and we'll see what's really what, and we'll see what the Ravens are really talking about. Xavier Smith says, B, are you going to have a rookie QB and have now shipped off his potential weapons, and you think that it will result in a division win? Just wondering. Hashtag no shots fired. He's just saying like, now that you have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the answer to that is the division is absolute garbage.
That's what it is.
And I do expect that they will fill in, unlike Baltimore, like we mentioned before, unlike the Ravens, they will actually replace DJ Moore. Maybe it won't be a player as good as DJ Moore. Maybe it'll be somebody a little bit better than DJ Moore, like DeAndre Hopkins. We'll have to see. But if their quarterback can play, which I think they will be able to, I mean, what you're looking at in that division is Atlanta led by Desmond Ridder, Tampa Bay currently led by Kyle Trask, and the Saints just signed Derek Carr, but the Saints are, their head coach is Dennis Allen, and that dude's a clown.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a stretch. I mean, they almost won the division with Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield last year. So,
right.
Yeah.
And yes, Brent, Mikey was protesting the stream, but we worked it out. He's back on. Okay. I gave Mikey some bad advice on a bet. Okay. I mean, I don't know why he listens to non-better, whatever. He got so mad. So you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and go to sleep. I'm not even gonna stay up for this stream. But yes, Mikey will be there. I think he'll be there. Yes, Mikey will be there tomorrow. All right. All right. We are out of here. I see you, Big Reg. I'm not reading that. No, they're not going to sign those guys. All right. All right. B, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Thanks for hanging out with us on a pop-up stream on a Friday night. Okay, it's the end of the week. I hope y'all have a great well, thank you, B. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Be back here tomorrow night if you are a boxing fan, or if you just want to see our faces tomorrow night. It'll probably be around midnight, for being honest. But hang out with us. Let's talk some boxing. Even if you're not a boxing fan, okay, we welcome the casual fans. If you don't know what's going on, we'll fill you in, and let's just have fun. Let's chop it up. All right, that's tomorrow night. Not on this channel. I'm sorry, not on this channel. It will be on Ring Kings podcast. So 61 people that are still in here, go subscribe to Ring Kings podcast. Go do that right now, because that's where the stream will be. All right, everyone, have a great night, and we will see you next time. Peace.